GLP-1 weight loss drugs promise results, but there are hidden dangers beneath the hype. Many taking these drugs experience unexpected side effects, including eating disorders and serious health risks. So in this video, I'm going to show you the 5 key risks that every practitioner must watch for and give you simple, proven strategies to keep your clients safe and thriving physically, mentally, and emotionally. So let's start with the why, because the reason someone starts on a GLP-1 will tell you a lot about how they'll potentially do long term. Think of it like building a house on dodgy foundations. You can put up beautiful walls, aka rapid weight loss, but if the ground beneath is unstable, the whole structure will crack. And that is why so many weight loss efforts fail, with or without medication, because the foundations aren't there. So when a client tells you they're on a GLP-1, the very first question to ask is, how long have you been struggling with food, weight, or your body image? Now here's a tiny example of responses we've had from literally thousands of clients over the years. When we ask that question, the most common response is, as long as I can remember, or ever since I was a child. And that's a big red flag for emotional or binge eating. Other red flag responses are, this will solve all my problems, or my doctor says I have to, or this is my last hope. Those types of expectations predict disappointment and dropout. So here are 3 key questions to ask. 1. What are your main reasons for taking this medication? 2. What do you hope will change in your life? Or 3. What does success look like for you? Out of the person's responses, pull anything that is health related, self-esteem related, or relationship related. I don't want my diabetes to get any worse. I just want to feel happy in my body. Or I want to be able to play football with my kids. Those are non-weight loss focused goals and can be achieved regardless of actual weight loss. In our program, we use solution-focused therapy questions, and a great one to ask here is, if we met in a year's time, what do you want to tell me has changed in your life? The answer to this should be about the ripple effect that the person believes weight loss will have. Not, I'll be 50 pounds lighter, but I'll be more confident, I'll be in a relationship, or I'll have changed jobs or gone back to school. All of the things that people put on hold until they've lost the weight. In the Eating Freely program, we use the 3 F's as our guiding principles for clients. Feed yourself properly, forgive yourself quickly, and focus on health and well-being, not weight loss as the goal. The more non-weight loss goals and outcomes you can identify and then focus on with your person, the better their outcomes will be, regardless of what happens on the scale. Which brings us to the elephant in the room, unresolved emotional or binge eating. Now, in a recent training with diabetes educators, I asked, how many of you routinely screen for emotional or binge eating? And more than half said they didn't, because it's not part of their intake process. Even worse, 93% of healthcare providers across the board can't correctly identify binge eating disorder criteria. And that means many clients are starting these medications with unresolved food issues, completely undetected. I was actually so shocked by this that I did a bit of research of my own. I looked at over 2,000 comments on GLP-1 related videos on YouTube, and out of all the emotional and binge eating related comments, almost 75% said the medication didn't help or didn't stop food noise. Now, while some clients with binge eating disorder say the medication really did help with food noise and reducing or stopping their binge eating, assuming it's going to have that effect for all binge eating clients is really dangerous. As health professionals, we should always specifically screen for disordered eating and provide additional support to any clients who meet the criteria. This is a big gap in current medical treatment pathways, and one that health coaches, therapists and nutritionists are ideally placed to fill. Now, your role probably does not include diagnosing eating disorders, but you can ask screening questions like, do you ever eat for emotional reasons? Do you ever feel out of control around food? Have you ever had periods of binging or strict restriction? If your person says yes, you can then refer them on, collaborate with another colleague who can help, or adjust your plan. And yes, you can offer some support within scope with just a short training. Whatever you do, don't ignore it. I can't tell you how often clients have said to us, "No one has ever asked me about this before." We've trained over 300 health professionals to specialise in emotional and binge eating, and we've had over 3,000 more on our short masterclass. And all our training is approved for continuing education credits. You'll find details of all our training programmes in the description below. Now, let's talk about what NICE, or the National Institute of Clinical Care and Excellence in the UK, calls wraparound care. Ahead of the National Health Service in the UK rolling out the prescribing of tirzepatide or Zepbound, they published guidelines that stated wraparound care is essential with weight loss medication. Medication without the essential pillars of support is like giving someone crutches but never sending them to physio. Take the crutches away and they just fall over. The function of GLP-1s is to literally reduce the appetite, but they do not automatically ensure the person is getting adequate nutrition. And research is telling us that many people on these medications eat far too little protein, lose muscle mass, don't drink enough water, are constipated, and can ultimately end up sicker, not healthier. Google GLP-1s and malnutrition and you'll see what I mean. As ethical health professionals, I think we all know that there is simply no such thing as an easy, permanent solution to weight loss. It is always going to require deliberate change, dietary change, movement change, habit change, or lifestyle change. Sometimes it requires a relationship change too. Sabotage, collusion, or codependency, anyone? But that's a topic for another video. Malnutrition and muscle wastage in particular are two big risk factors that are directly linked to the amount and quality of the food your person is eating. And we can provide strong support to put a new eating and movement roadmap for life in place. And this is the real goal: deep, permanent behaviour change to ensure long-term success. So any programme of support you offer will include guidance on nutrition, eating small, nutritionally dense meals regularly and ensuring there's plenty of protein in there. 2. Keeping up or starting a sustainable movement habit, and if possible, introducing strength or resistance training to protect lean muscle. 3. Building sustainable habits around these two pillars, and this includes actions like meal planning, scheduling regular activity and movement that the person will enjoy and keep up, and to cover the psychological support, you'll be asking better questions and, where appropriate, either finding specialist support for any disordered eating or taking some training yourself. And of course, we can help with that part. Details of our ethical weight management and GLP-1 support training program are below in the description. And like all our programs, it's fully approved for continuing education credits. Bonus. Now, our goal with clients is never actually weight loss. It is creating that roadmap for life. And by setting non-weight loss goals, we can ensure people feel a sense of achievement and accomplishment regardless of what the scales says. We want people to change their eating habits, their behaviour habits, their movement habits, and their lifestyle habits. But it should never be contingent on or expect a result of weight loss. Let's change everything else and see what happens. Now, here's a big risk that isn't talked about enough. GLP-1s can actually trigger disordered eating. Now, my sister pretty much ruined Christmas dinner for me last year. She chose that particular time to share some concerns she was having. Now, my sister is an absolutely amazing fitness professional, has been for years, and of course, in that world, she's going to see a lot of disordered behaviours. However, her worry wasn't about a client, it was about a friend and colleague. As fitness pros themselves, they go to this mad hard class on a Sunday morning for their own workout, and the week before, my sister had finally said something to her friend about her alarming weight loss. Again, a fitness professional, super fit and healthy, low body fat and all muscle, and yet skinny culture had gotten to her and she had started using Ozempic. She'd previously told my sister that she had just always wanted to be thin. My sister said she hadn't taken her hoodie off in class for weeks, a class that has even these high-performing pros dripping with sweat, as my sister said. She could see her cheeks were gaunt, she developed lanugo or excess facial hair, all the signs were there. But when my sister respectfully inquired, her friend became very defensive and wouldn't entertain the idea of going back to her GP or consider stopping the medication. Truthfully, we think she never even went to her doctor because remember, this woman was super fit and healthy to begin with. So it's more likely she was getting it online. She wouldn't have met the criteria. And this, of course, is anorexia. and it is becoming more common for patients on GLP-1s to develop anorexia as a result of taking medications. Even more concerning, if the person is still at a higher weight, this may go completely undetected, and in this instance it's called atypical anorexia because of the missing attribute of being visibly underweight. So I gave my sister some advice on what to say to her friend the next time they met, and we went back to listening to Dad telling his Christmas cracker jokes. Now, side note, while I'm always happy to help anyone who needs advice or guidance, and please always feel free to reach out, please do not ask for it while I'm eating myself. So with any client taking a weight loss medication, you must check in regularly and ask, are they missing meals? Are they eating less than 800 to 1,000 calories a day? Are they reporting or experiencing anxiety about eating in front of other people or in social situations, having to eat because it's a social event? Are they weighing themselves constantly? And are they highly focused on weight loss as the goal? If the answers to any of these questions are yes, that's not really success, it's a red flag. And support may mean pausing the weight focus, reframing the goals, and where appropriate, referring to an eating disorder specialist. And my sister's experience brings up other ethical questions that you might need to consider too. Now, they're not for this video, but of course we always cover ethical dilemmas in our training programs. And finally, let's talk side effects, because they are not minor, they are really common and some are devastating. Many people stop taking these medications just because of the side effects, even though with proper management and the correct pillars of support, most of the common side effects can be minimised and even eliminated. Up to 80% of clients experience nausea. 60 to 70% report constipation. About half report fatigue. 30 to 40% of people experience acid reflux and heartburn. And 20 to 30% of people experience vomiting. And then, of course, you've got really unlucky ones who get some or all of these. And along with the physical symptoms, there are significant mental and emotional health consequences. Folks say things like, it killed my appetite, but also my joy. Or my anxiety got worse the longer I was on it. Or I started isolating because I felt so low. Or I cried all the time and I couldn't explain why. And if all that isn't enough, weight plateaus are also super common. In fact, I recommend that you specifically highlight to people that a plateau or several plateaus are completely normal. The bad news is, while some people will kickstart back into weight loss again, others won't, i.e. the plateau is permanent. And that's another reason why we need to have non-weight loss goals in place so the work can continue despite any stall or stop in weight loss, and the client can still achieve good change and goals. So whilst you cannot make any recommendations about the medication itself unless you are a medical professional, you can support clients to minimise the impact of these side effects by encouraging clients to start a side effect diary, use a food and mood journal, and record symptoms after meals. Sharing practical management tips like smaller meals, ginger for nausea, hydration for constipation. Checking in on emotional and mental health regularly. And watching for signs of isolating or changes in mood. You may even notice this yourself, session to session. Normalise weight plateaus as part of the journey, not failure. And preparing your clients for stopping. Obviously, tapering should be done medically and only by their doctor, but they will need emotional and behavioural support to prevent rebound eating and weight regain. As part of our approved training in ethical weight management and GLP-1 support, we give practitioners a ton of resources, worksheets, checklists and cheat sheets for both themselves and clients. Now you can go ahead and grab the one on side effects below. It's a big 12-page document with loads of support, and you can share that with any clients you have who are taking these medications. So let's recap. If you're working with clients on GLP-1s, you need to support them psychologically, screen for emotional and binge eating, build nutrition and movement into the plan, watch for disordered eating development, and help them navigate side effects and stopping safely. This is the missing piece of GLP-1 care. Clients are not just a before and after weight loss photo. They're whole people with complex histories and needs. And with the best will in the world, overstretched doctors with less than 10 minutes per patient cannot even begin to provide the level of wraparound support their patients need. But as a therapist, health coach, nutritionist or dietitian, This essential support is completely within your wheelhouse and can open up a whole new client group for you. If you'd like to get more practical strategies, tools and resources to work confidently in this space, check out our specialist training for health professionals. You'll find the link below this video. And if you have any specific questions, you can always ask me in the comments. I'll happily respond, as long as I'm not eating. And if you're interested in learning more about emotional and binge eating, watch this video next. Thanks for joining me, and bye for now.